right, so today is your quick review of everything that we've learned about fractions. Since the start of our very small fractions unit, there hasn't been too much to learn for this year. You guys will get more next year. So remember that tomorrow we have a check-in just to see how well you guys are doing. If you do awesome on it, then I will think about whether or not we need to do a show what you know. If you need more practice, then we'll do a little bit more practice as well, okay? So tomorrow you will get more information on your Kahoot, but today this is just to refresh your brain because some of the stuff we learned a while ago, just about everything we've learned about fractions. So remember that a fraction represents a part of a whole, okay? Or any number of equal parts. So if you had a circle with 4 parts, so it was cut into 4 equal parts and one was colored, it would be 1/4. So the fraction is the part, so the one part that's colored of the whole circle. Remember, we talked about these vocabulary words. I wonder before we go into the fraction learning, how many of these you actually remember? Okay, so do you know what a sixth is? Do you know what a half is? Do you know what a quarter or a fourth is? What about numerator and denominator? Okay, we've talked about all of these and I'm going to review all of them today. We've already talked about fractions and now we're going to talk about equal parts. So remember, equal parts are just when we cut things up so they are the same size. So we cut them up so they are the same, okay? So here we have 2 examples. We have the first one, which is this lovely blue snail, my favorite, and it is cut into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are all the same size, okay? So this is equal, okay? Now we have this pink snail down here at the bottom, and that is cut into 3 parts, okay? But they are not the same size. So not the same. So they are unequal. So in your heads, just tell me if the parts are equal or unequal. So number 1, this is equal. What about this one? Equal or unequal? Unequal. And this one, equal or unequal? Equal. And the last one, equal or unequal? Unequal. Awesome. Okay, so then we gave the equal parts a name, and this is where the fancy fraction names come in. So remember, we had halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th, which is actually most of the words on our vocabulary list. 6, 7, 8, half, fifth, quarters, thirds, 10th, 9th, those are all on there, okay? So remember that 2 equal parts, when something's cut in 2, we have 2 halves. When something's cut in 3, we have thirds. When it's cut into 4, we have fourths. When it's cut into 5, fifths. When it's cut into 6, sixths. When it's cut into 7, sevenths. When it's cut into 8, eighths. And when it's cut into 9, ninths. And lastly, when it's cut into 10, tenths. And then if it's just one whole, it's just one whole. So they have to be equal parts. So you can't have something that's cut, if we had 3 and we did it like that, that's not 3 equal parts. So while it is cut into 3, it's not 3 equal parts. So it's not relevant, okay? We can't, it has to be equal parts for it to be called a third properly, all right? Let's do some practice with this. So we're gonna start with our hexagon. Hopefully you guys remember what a hexagon is. So first we are going to see, so remember we have 1 that's colored, so I'm gonna write the number 1, but I need to see how many parts it's been cut into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I remember that it's a 6, but then a THS word. Then I have my circle. So that has 3 colored parts, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I think 4, but I add a THS. And for my rectangle, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 3 things that are colored, but I have 5 equal parts, so it's fifths. And remember, fifth, it's not fives, it's fifths. So it's a bit different. That one's a tricky one to remember. Let's try a few more just to make sure that you are confident with this. So we're going to start with our octagon. So we have 1 that's colored, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 1/8. Okay. And then we have 1, 2, 3. So 2 things that are colored, but it's 2/3. Okay. And the last one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 are colored, so it's 3/4. Then, so after we learned what their names were, we learned how to write fractions in numbers. So this is where we use the words numerator, which is the number at the top, and it means how many parts are being counted, and denominator, which is how many parts are in the whole. So it's the denominator is the number at the bottom, and the numerator is the number at the top, okay? So again, numerator is the top number, and that is the part, so how many parts are colored. And the denominator is the number at the bottom, which is how many parts there are in the whole. So let's practice. So remember, we've seen this before. We want to start off by counting the number of squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we know that there are 5 squares total in this shape. So we're going to write the number 5 at the bottom. That's our denominator. And then we need to count the number of squares that are blue. So 1, 2, 3 squares that are blue. And we're going to write that number as our numerator because we wanted to find out what fraction of the shape is blue. All right, let's try another one. So here, what fraction of the shape is colored? So we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 is our number on the bottom, that's our denominator. And then 1, 2 is our number at the top. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is our number on the bottom, and 3 is colored, so it goes the number at the top, right? And a couple more just for more practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is our number on the bottom. 1 is colored, that one was easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on the bottom and 2 on the top. And then, since we are writing fractions with numbers now, we compared fractions using our Gary, Larry, and Yeri gator signs. So remember that the biggest number goes on the open mouth side because gators are always hungry and they want to eat the most food, so they eat the biggest thing. And then the small one is what they turn their backs to, okay? So, when we look at the fractions, it's easiest to see it in a picture which one has more. So if I was just looking at this one as a picture, I would automatically see that this one had less than number 2. So I would put the big one on that side, okay? So remember, the open mouth goes towards the biggest number. Now, if I wanted to write these as fractions, I would have 1/3 and 2/3. And remember that when we write it with numbers, the denominators are the same. So we're just comparing the 2 numbers at the top, okay? And we know that the 2 is bigger than the 1. So again, I'm looking at the picture, which can help me. It's super easy just to look at the picture and see how many are yellow and how many are white, because we know by looking at it that the first one has 2 yellow, this one has 3 yellow. So we already know that this one is bigger. And if I was going to write it as a fraction, I would have 2/4 and 3/4, and obviously 3 is a bigger number, okay? And here again, looking at the pictures, because remember, even if you just have the fractions, so if I had 4/8 and 5/8, when my denominator, the number on the bottom, is the same, I don't even have to look at those. so I don't need that number at all. I can just look at the numbers at the top, and I know that 5 is bigger than 4, and I can see in the picture that 5 is bigger than 4 as well. Okay, let's do one last one. So here I have 3 that are colored, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are colored over 8. So I don't even have to look at the 8. It doesn't matter because I can look at my picture, which I can draw if I don't have a picture already. If I just have numbers, I can draw a picture, and I can see that 5 is bigger than 8. So for today, all you need to do is choose one page on each slide. That means you have to do a total of 3 pages, but you get to choose. If you would like to do more pages, if you want to do all of the pages, that's fine. There's only 5 pages total, although one of the pages has a selection. So I will explain that to you as we get to that page. But for now, you only have to do 3 pages. So your first page is to choose one of these equal part pages. So this is your equal parts review. So there's going to be 3 different activities in your Class Dojo portfolio for you today. The first one is the review. I'm going to call it Fractions Review Equal Parts. And maybe I'll put number 1, Fractions Review Equal Parts. So you need to choose either page 1 or page 2, your choice. For page 1, all you need to tell me if it's equal or unequal. For page 2, it's a little bit more complicated. So you need to tell me how many equal parts there are, and then you're going to write the name. And remember, name is like 1/4, half, 1/5, okay? Things like that. So that's what you need to write for the name, because you don't know how many is colored. You're just telling me how many equal parts there are. So for example, in the first one, there are 2. So I know that one is called a half. We've done something similar to this in your equal parts of the whole review work that we did, I think, last week. Okay, so choose one of these 2 pages to do. If you would like to do them both, I am more than happy for you to do that, but you only need to submit 1. Then you're going to do this page, which is called Writing Fractions. Okay, and what you need to do is you're only going to do half of it. If you want to do the whole page, so there's a level 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Level 1, which is 10 questions. Level 2, which is all 20. Okay, your choice to choose level 1 and do 10 questions, or level 2 and do 20 questions. So it's up to you. All right? Or you can, so level 10, half the page. Level 2 is doing the whole page. So this one, there's not 2 pages to choose from. You choose your level. Then the last page is comparing fractions. So this is your comparing fractions page. You have page 1 and page 2. Now, page 1, there's extra work if you would like to do it. So I will include that in your math booklet pages today for your review. Now, you only have to do 1 page, again, from this one. If you want to do more, go for it. So choose page 1 or page 2. If you choose page 1, you only have to do this page that's on the screen. You don't have to do the other work unless you want to. It's up to you. And for these ones, you're just writing your signs. So this sign, this sign, this sign. So greater than, smaller than. You're writing Gary, Larry, and your Eary. So greater than, less than, and equal to. Okay. So again, you're looking at the pictures. You have the pictures and the numbers here. This one, you just have the numbers. All right. So that's it. So you need to choose 1 page from this screen. So equal parts page 1, equal parts page 2. You need to choose level 1, which is 10 questions, or level 2, which is 20 questions from your writing fraction page. and then you're going to choose page 1 or page 2 from your comparing fractions page, all right? And that is what you're going to do for me today, and then you're going to submit each page into the activity in Class Dojo. So there will be 3 different activities, so please pay attention to what ones you're doing. I will be sending through all of these pages for you. Remember, if you would like to do more than 1 page, that's fine, you can, but you only have to do 3, and you can choose which ones you do. And that's it, okay? So good luck. Remember, take your time. If you have questions, please ask me, because tomorrow we are going to be doing our Kahoot quiz check-in on fractions. So I want to make sure you guys really understand and know this really, really well, okay? So go ahead, choose your pages or your level, and I look forward to seeing how well you do.